We told you in a previous video that China, the United States, EU member states, and India are the biggest contributors to the world's carbon footprint. We will today tell you why we can't help it. The Industrial Revolution began and ended in the West in the 18th century. India and China remain largely untouched by the development. But fortunately, that meant we were unaffected by the pollution that comes with the package. Then, China in the 1980s and India in the 1990s turned around. We started to catch up fast with the developed world. Obviously, we had to consume and emit a lot of carbon in the process. What happens now in all climate summits is that the US and Europe point an accusing finger at us and call us polluters. But is that fair? Number one, the US has, in the last 3 centuries, emitted more carbon than the current largest carbon dioxide emitter, that is China. Since 1750, the US has emitted more than 400 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide, almost a quarter of all emissions in history. This is more than 1.5 times the amount emitted by China. Number two, not only that, the US has one of the highest per capita emissions of carbon dioxide in the world, at 14.44 metric tons per person. In comparison, China's per capita emissions are 8.85 metric tons. Number three, and carbon is not the only polluter. There are methane, nitrous oxide, fluorinated gases, sulfur dioxide, and particulate matter. The United States is the largest creator of methane as well as fluorinated gases. Europe is the second largest industrial fluorinated gas emitter. So, while China and India are otherwise mutual adversaries, at the climate summits, we team up and tell the West its accusation is unfair. First, why don't you stop polluting first? Second, if you want us to switch to non-polluting technology, transfer the technology to us at affordable prices. For the sake of humanity, you can do that, can't you? Third, tell us, if we are to turn into 2 developed countries, if we are to eradicate poverty, if we are to uplift our people from the miserable conditions in which they live, how are we going to do it without using carbon? Remember, before the Industrial Revolution, New York City did not exist. London, Paris, and Berlin were villages, no way comparable to ancient Athens or Rome. If you are to undo all the harm you caused to planet Earth, you will no longer remain as rich as you are now. Would you like to go back to that metaphorical Stone Age? If you don't, how can you ask us to stay there?